Twitter. So when a new voice starts speaking that I'm not familiar with, I have to pick up the phone and look at whoever's microphone is off. And so Greg was correct when he told Duke of Pan Africa that he kept on getting interrupted. And so the conversations that Pan-Africans and immigrants try to have is not genuine. It's not genuine, and folks are out of time. I'm just going to be frankly honest. That's life. Folks are out of time, and now they see now they sound desperate for unity when all of us have to take accountability. We each have to take accountability for the choices and decisions and our actions in life. Pan-Africans and immigrants been coming to America since around 1960. So if all of this so-called unity was going to materialize, you would see some proof of it by now. If all of these human beings who've been walking around on two legs since 1960 that claim that we had all of this unity, then it would be proof of it. Folks would have to be on stage crying about it. They would have to be opening spaces and showing their ugly side. If what is coming out of their mouth had any truth to it, there will be some proof of it. And folks like to say, "Well, I'm married to a person from Jamaica. I'm married from a person from Ethiopian." That's all well and good, but you can't speak for millions of individuals. You have a direct connection and experience of marrying someone that's from another nation. But just because you have a pleasant experience don't mean 10 other people are going to have that same experience. That's why it's disingenuous. I can't sit on this broadcast and say, because Aquilin was able to process in her mind of being born in the projects and then leaving the projects and then moving to a middle income neighborhood, that everybody should be able to do that. I can't say that because I'm one person. I can't sit up here and give an example of my own personal individual life and think that should apply to other individuals. I'm one person. My individual experience of being born in the projects and spending the first 9 years of my life in the projects and then being moved to a different environment, all of it played a part in shaping me. With the blessings of the good Lord and the foundation that my mother gave me and the special mom that I was blessed with, I was able to navigate those pitfalls and come out and go down the right path for the most part. I didn't get it perfect. But I can't sit on a public app and say just because I'm married to an immigrant that everybody should be able to get along. I'm telling a bald-faced lie. I'm telling a bald-faced lie, and I need to take accountability for that. Just because I may decide to marry a person from Jamaica or Haiti or the continent don't mean that I need to put my personal life choices onto someone else unless they want to invite it. And unless they say, I invite you to share with me your personal life experience and I want to be a part of it. If that person don't invite you to do that, then you shouldn't intrude. You shouldn't try to force it down their throat. And that is what is going on with Pan-African. That is exactly what's going on with this We All Black. I'm gonna that space that Duke of Pan-African had today was like so many other spaces that I popped into that are unfair. And they unfair on both sides. They're not just unfair in the Pan-African space. They are unfair in the space for the persons who go by Black American, African American, freedmen, ADOS, and LPA. They are unfair in each of those spaces too. They are unfair on both sides. And folks are never going to get anywhere because human beings are human beings. Just because human beings have the same skin color does not mean they have the same lived experience. Persons who connect naturally, they recognize what things they have in common. And then they start building trust and respect for each other. It don't happen instantaneously. It don't happen because you keep on repeating the word unity out your mouth. But human beings have individual lived experience. No one can get around that. And you're not going to unify just because you have the same skin tone. That's never going to happen. But folks constantly like to say, well, we have the same enemy. Well, the next time someone says that, I want them to show me proof of the voting record of the Congress and the senators who have brown skin, and I want to know their nationality. I want to know their ethnicity. I want to know how they voted for the past 50 or 60 years. If you're not going to go do that research, then I don't need you to tell me that we have the same enemy. I need proof of how you have been impacted, and I clearly know how I personally have been impacted. I can't speak and verify how you directly have been impacted, but I know how I personally have been impacted. So this little narrative that folks like to say, oh, we got the same enemy, and when the policeman pulled me over, we all black. When the policeman pulled me over, we all black. You're not going to get anywhere with that narrative. Because if that narrative would have worked, it would have worked 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 20 years ago. It would have already showed proof that it could bring persons who have the same skin tone together because they're based on, we get pulled over by the policeman because we're black, or number two, that we have the same enemy. If that was the correct, factual, collective lived experience of brown skin and dark brown skin person, then there would be more proof of unity by now. See, because that's not real. That just sounds good. It sounds good for folks to get on public apps and say that, but they know they can't show any proof of that. It just sounds good for the narrative that they want to try to paint. And so they keep on saying it. But proof is proof. The facts are the facts. And if the narrative was that we are all black and we all get treated the same way because we're black, then all of those folks who you think are black would have long since come together by now. If they had the same enemy, they would have come together naturally. It would have happened naturally because they would be able to identify a similarity that they can point to, that they have experienced in the same way. No two human beings have the same lived experience every single day. Every single day is different for each individual person. So for grown adults to get on a public app and keep on saying that out of their mouth, I know right away I'm listening to a liar. I know right away I'm listening to a liar, and I'm going to make note of it. I'm going to make note of it because it's important for me to make note of that, because that person could be saying something to harm my well-being. So I'm gonna make note of their name. I'm going to make note of their social media name and their voice. That's two things that I have to do because what that individual person is saying out of their mouth could possibly be harmful to me. And so it's important for my well-being to make note of that, because that's not true. We don't have the same enemy. Unless you can show me proof of the voting record of the brown and dark brown skinned individual persons in the Congress and the Senate for the past 50 or 60 years. If you can't show me that, and if I cannot see their voting record, if I cannot verify their voting record, then I cannot sit up here and believe that we have the same enemy. I'm going to base it on facts. And that's one bar that needs to be checked off before I'm going to swallow that we have the same enemy. So for all you folks in the future, who want to hang on to that narrative that we have the same enemy, I would suggest you start doing your research on the voting record for the past 50 and 60 years of brown and dark brown skinned individuals. And then you may be able to make a stronger case that someone will believe. But you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. And so I got another test. For Pan-Africans and immigrants. I want you to contact me and ask me to send you the direct link if you cannot find it on my Twitter timeline that's posted 4 times a day for the OMB. Let me say it again real slow. For all you Pan-Africans and all you immigrants who cry unity, I want you to click on my profile and find that JPEG that I have posted on my Twitter timeline. It shows up 4 times a day, so you cannot hardly miss it. I have it scheduled all the way up to the 18th of February. I finished it up 2 days ago, and it's scheduled to show up 4 times per day up until the 18th of February. So if you folks really are serious about unity, I got a foolproof test for you. Contact me and ask me to send you that direct link if you cannot find it on my profile. And I want you to click on that link and submit your statement and tell the OMB that you support the Negroes having a box, the Black Americans having a box on the census report. I want your statement to include OMB. I am in support of Negroes in America having a box separate from immigrants who have a nation. I am in support of Black Americans having a separate box that's separate from other persons who have a nation they came from. OMB, I am in support of the African Americans having a box from the persons who come from Jamaica, Haiti, or the continent. OMB, I am in support of the Freedmens having a box separate from the persons that come from Jamaica, Haiti, and the continent. OMB, I am in support of the FBA having a separate box from the persons coming from Jamaica, Haiti, and the continent. You see how this works? I don't care for Tariq Nasheed. I don't care for Yvette Carnell. I don't care for a lot of folks who identify as freedmen. I don't care for a lot of folks that identify as African American. I don't care for a lot of folks that identify as Black American. But I believe in being fair. I believe in being fair and not fake. I believe in being fair and honest and not fake. So, although I do not support these other terms, the persons who claim that they want unity, that have a nation already, and you have a recognized ethnicity, you have 3 things that Negroes and Black Americans and African Americans and Freedmen and ADOS and FBA don't have. You have those 3 things, so I'm going to name them for you. I'm going to name them for you, and I hope you'll write them down. America recognizes your ethnicity. America recognizes your national origin. America recognizes your nation. Black American in Africa, well, let me start with Negro. Negro is in a fight for the ancestors' history to be preserved and protected, because the OMB in America and the Congress and the Senate and the president and the vice president and the whole world is trying to get it removed. They're trying to get it removed and erased. So America been trying for decades to murder and lock up Negroes for decades. They have paper genocide them over and 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 over again. They have paper genocided them. They have murdered them. They have locked them up. They have deprived them of their basic humanity. They have deprived them of of respect as a human being. America has deprived them of their protection. They have deprived them of resources. And so you human beings who want so desperate for everyone to be black, you are pretty much doing the same thing America's doing. I think you need to look in that mirror and say, am I, when I'm on these social media apps, do I exhibit the similar traits of America? Because America has a foolproof track record of erasure and paper genocide of the Negro, and the reclassification to Black American, the reclassification to African American, the reclassification to Freeman and ADOS and LPA has not been recognized. But those persons who identify that way, they have every right to fight for that, as long as they don't try to steal the Negro ancestors. That's what I have a beef with them about. That's why I'm angry with them, because they trying to steal the recorded history that was recorded under the ethnicity term Negro. Now they want to give that credit to these other terms that came later on. And that's not fair. That's not honesty. And that's why they are going to fail. They deserve to be acknowledged for what they have accomplished under the terms that they want to go by, but they don't have the right to try to steal the Negro ancestors. They don't have the right to try to come up with acronyms to speak for 40 million persons. They don't have the right to try to come up with acronyms. BAND, Black American Negro Descendant. Acronym BANL, Black American Negro Freeman. Because my mother is resting in her grave. They didn't get her permission. My grandfather is resting in his grave. They didn't get his permission. My grandmother is resting in her grave, and they didn't get her permission. They didn't get my great-grandfather and great-grandmother permission to change their ethnicity, because they in the 21st century. And that is the number one reason why God is going to make sure they fail. Mark my word. Mark my word, they're going to fail. Because no other human being have the right to do that. If those persons live their life day in and day out as a Negro, persons in the 21st century don't get to change it to an acronym that suits them. That's not right. That's not fair. That's not being respectful. That's not honoring the sacrifice that they made and the recorded history that was recorded under that term to give them acknowledgement. No, you think that you have the right to change that because you prefer a different term. No, the fair way to do it, the only fair way to do it is to have a box for each one of those terms, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to fight for that. They have a weak backbone, and they know they cannot get anything accomplished without the term Negro. That's what they finally realizing, that they cannot get America to recognize any of these terms without the term Negro. So the FBA, some of the folks in the FBA camp, like Tariq Nasheed, I'm gonna be Pacific. I'm gonna name a Pacific name. They trying to paint Negro in a negative light. You got Shaw, who be in the Pan-African space. He want everybody to be African American. Shaw is one person. SHA is his name. I have him blocked. I don't ever want to talk to that man again on this earth unless he apologizes. If he do a sincere apology, I may consider talking to him. But I don't think he's going to do that because it's not part of his character. That's not in him. But Shaw thinks he have the right to get angry at folks who don't want to claim Africa. Shaw is one person. Shaw is one human being. He don't have the right to get angry at someone who don't want to claim Africa. Shaw not getting mad at. He's spending more energy on getting angry at folks who don't want to claim Africa than providing proof of this unity that they keep talking about. Excuse me. I would like folks who talk about unity to show me some numbers, and that's another thing I want folks to ask for. For all these persons who get on these public apps and talk about unity, the next time they talk about unity, ask them to show you proof of them gathering their number count. Do they have a community? Do they have a website? Do they have a Facebook group? Do they have a Telegram group? Where are they putting work into gathering the number count? How many Pan-Africans are on the same page? How many Pan-Africans are in a group, a community group, where they're gathering their number count? Show me proof before you start saying the word unity, and then you may be able to get my attention. But just saying the word don't mean anything. You have to back it up with action and proof. And that's a little bit too hard work for folks to do. It's a lot easier to get up day after day after day after day after day and keep saying the word unity, and that we all have the same enemy, and that we are all black. That's easy. But show me some numbers, and then you got my attention. If you're not going to show me no numbers, if you're not showing me the effort and the work that you're putting in together and your number count, then you're not going to get my attention, because I know you don't mean business. Because if you did, you would be able to show me some proof. I should be able to click on a link and go to that link and see what is your number count. You can show it to me. You can take a screenshot of it. Show me your number count. So I'm going to say again, for those folks who identify as Pan-African or Africa or Jamaica or Haitian or Bahamas, whatever your nation is, I want you to show me proof of this so-called unity that you talk about. I want you to take a screenshot of you submitting that statement to the OMB in support that America recognize each one of those terms. Can you do that? I don't think you folks want to do that, do you? But I'm going to put it in the title in the coming days. In the coming days, I'm going to put it on blast. In the coming days, my title is going to be All Immigrants and Pan-Africans Show Your Support by submitting your comment to the OMB in support that America recognize Negro, Black American, African American, Freedmen, ADOS, and FBA as their preferred ethnicity. Can you do that? You failed the test when I asked you to join my boycott. All of you failed the test. So now you got another test. You're going to keep on getting tests until you prove something with your action. See, that's how life works. Human beings need to understand that. You're going to continue to be challenged and tested to put your actions where your mouth is. Until you put up, you're going to have to shut up. Until you put up with action and proof, you're going to have to shut up because it's not going to fly. Human beings are not going to respond. They have a brain. They know how to think. They know how to evaluate. And they know how to evaluate that when someone is feeding them something that they can't show any proof of behind their words, if they cannot show any proof, and not these little individual examples of family members and friends. No. If you are an example of unity, you're not going to have to work too hard to get folks on board because they're going to be able to make that evaluation. If you come across as a genuine, honest person, a person is going to pick up on that. They're gonna maybe take some time to observe you for a short while and say, can I trust this person to be consistent? And they'll make that evaluation. And if they come to the conclusion that you are an honest person and that your actions speak louder than your words, more than likely they'll be more than happy to reach out and connect with you. But they're not going to do it with you just constantly get on a public app talking about unity and talking about we all have the same enemy. I've given you what you need to do. If you're going to say we all have the same enemy, I want to see the voting record of individuals in the Congress and the Senate for the past 50, let's just say 50 years. 50 years. We ain't got to do 60. We'll do 50. And it's not going to take that long to look up that information. So if you want me to believe that we all have the same enemy, then I need to know the voting record of these individuals with brown and dark brown skin for the past 50 years. That's quite simple to do, right? That's not asking too much. That's not asking too much for you to show me that proof. And then I will personally evaluate it and verify, can I believe what's coming out of your mouth that we have the same enemy? I need to have facts. I need to have facts that I can base it on, make my evaluation on. And as far as we all black, I'm going to say this, as long as you run around here calling yourself black, you will never have a taste of liberation. Now, and the main harm that you're going to do is to your children and grandkids, because it makes no sense for adults to still be running around here trying to paint the narrative that all persons with brown and dark brown skin are black. I don't know why you're doing it. I don't know why you're doing it. You must want to pass this harm down to your children and your grandkids. That's what you're making certain of that. Because no human being, black is not an ethnicity. Black is not even really a race. That's just something the enemy came up with. They came up with white for them, and they came up with black for all persons that could not pass for white. And we clearly know that. So why would you want to pass that down to your children? Why would you want your child to walk out into the world and be judged by their skin color as black? When that child know they look in the mirror and they know they're not black. But they know they're gonna suffer the same harm that each of us have suffered for the past 50, 100 years. So you adults must be okay with that, because if not, it's no excuse for you to continue to say black. And just because the enemy may see you as black don't mean you have to identify that way. Because your child and your grandchild, they deserve better than that. They deserve to be judged by their character, not by their skin color. Let's all say it together. That child deserves to be judged by their character and a God-given ability. And if you don't start laying the groundwork for that, you are going to be responsible for them having to be judged by their skin color. Because each of you are playing your part. You can't point to the enemy and say, well, They see me as black, so I'm black. They see me as black, so I'm black. That's a cop-out. Because you have a brain. I have a brain. You have a brain. Your child and your grandkids have a brain. So that's not that makes no sense to keep saying that. I don't understand it, why you're doing it. Because we clearly know that no human being is born white. Not one single human being has ever been born white. Not one single human being has ever been born black. But you persons you're gonna have to snap out of whatever that's mentally handicapping you, whatever trauma, whatever scars, whatever mental handicap you have holding you back. Because I have some of the same things. Mine may not be identical to yours, but I have trauma, I have scars, and I have a mental handicap from being born into this sick environment. I'm not going to sit up here and try to deny it. But thank God I had a good mother who gave me a good foundation to push myself every day I get up, to push myself when I feel fear, to push myself when I fail. I don't fail unless I fail to try. She had all these different little sayings. She was famous for saying, you cannot fail unless you fail to try. So you folks gonna have to snap out of it